I'm Casey Putman, and we're here today at the Alabama Coshada Indian Reservation, where Sam Houston Electric Cooperative will be electing their board members and discussing their operations in East Texas. Sam Houston Electric Cooperative is planning to install an 8.7-mile transmission line on the side of FM 980. This line is stated to cost $3,116,360, minus poles, wires, insulators, and etc. These lines could possibly reduce the value of all surrounding properties. They will expose families to EMF or electromagnetic fields, which research suggests may lead to major health problems. You mind telling us why you're here today?
Well, it's the annual meeting. It's kind of interesting to see what the co-op's been doing during the last year and what they're going to do this coming year.
Since the first meeting I've attended.
The first meeting? And how many years have you been with SHECO?
23.
This is the first meeting you've attended?
Because most of the meetings occur during the workday whenever
Yes,
I couldn't come. Now that I'm retired, I can come.
Initially, we were informed that it would be permissible for us to videotape inside the meeting hall. However, prior to the board meeting, this would change. Keith Stapleton emerged from the crowd and informed us that not only would we be unable to record the meeting, but we also had to vacate the building. Are you aware of the FM 980 project? No. Well, what they're doing is SHECO is putting a huge power line right next to a farm to market road where an elementary school is going to be.
Oh, no, that would be bad.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I think that wouldn't work.
It's not going to work. I
No.
mean, all that voltage and stuff. You know, they're normally in cow pastures and stuff like that, not next to roads,
No,
right?
I don't think it should be close to a school.
And what if I told you it didn't serve a single member of your community?
It doesn't serve
No,
us?
ma'am.
Well, that would make it even worse. No.
Well, thank you for your input, ma'am. You've been a big help. How do y'all feel about that with children?
I think that's a good idea.
Well, it definitely, I mean, if they could move it someplace else,
ma'am.
I'd like to see them do that.
If I told you that there was an alternative route that they didn't want to take that wouldn't harm anyone, how would you feel about that?
Probably be better.
But they don't want to take that other route because they feel like it'd be too much of an inconvenience because this is already planned.
They need to be inconvenienced then. Yeah, I think so.
Do you have grandchildren?
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm sure they're going to look at the other alternatives.
What if I told you they weren't open to the other alternatives, and one of which would not harm anyone?
Well, I'm sure they're going to take the best avenue.
So you're just that confident in the company?
I think they'll do the best that they can for the community, yes.
What if you found out differently in the end? How would you feel about SHECO then?
Well, if they did something illegal or wrong, I wouldn't care for that, but I don't think they will do that.
What if I told you that some of the executives have been accused of perjury?
I couldn't tell you that. I don't know anything about that.
Well,
No?
no, not right now. I've got some stuff to do here.
Well, I mean, there's a line. It won't be too long, I promise.
Well, no,
Spare a little time for the community?
that's what I'm doing right here.
I understand. Electricity, SHECO also. Do you live out here in East Texas?
I really don't answer those questions.
Okay. It soon became clear that it wasn't enough to eject us from the building, as SHECO staff members gradually positioned themselves to prevent us from interviewing anyone. Their strategy was soon made clear as they attempted to block our camera person. Are you aware of the 980 project?
Oh, yeah.
You are? How do you feel about it?
I feel great.
What if I told you that there was going to be an elementary school?
Could I
ask you a few questions?
Hey, I'm so glad to see you. I got your name.
Every time there's been a problem, they fixed it right away?
Pretty quick,
Pretty quick?
yeah.
How quick? Within hours or days?
It only depends on how bad it is.
We had a signed and notarized proxy we presented to the SHECO staff that allowed us to be there for George H. Russell. His proxy was denied entry to the annual meeting, and Mr. Russell was therefore disenfranchised and not allowed to vote against the directors, who had been harassing his family and attempting to illegally bulldoze portions of his church's cemetery. Mr. Palmer, could I ask you a few questions? Ultimately, we were left to wonder what occurred during the meeting as the doors to the hall closed, with us on the outside.